Hello everyone, very good evening. Welcome to all aboard. My name is Varsha Dhimang, and in this particular session, we are going to cover agriculture and rural development related current affair from 28th of June till 4th of July 2025, right? So aspirants who are there in the session, please let me know that my voice is clearly audible and the screen is clearly visible so that we can start our today's discussion smoothly, right? So there are so many different events that happened in the last week, okay, that we have to cover here. Am I clearly audible and visible to everyone? Yeah. Please let me know, is everything fine and how's your studies going on and how's everything? So now we are in the month of July 2025. Very good evening, Shashank. Very good evening to you. And now you can assume that in this month, your notification, most probably in this month, your notification will be released. Okay. Yeah. Very good evening, Anjali. Very good evening to you guys. Okay. So in this month, your notification will be released, right? And as I always say that you have to cover the current affair for the last 6 to 8 months. So please, aspirant, this is a very important time. It's a very crucial time. Now you should do your like revision in a very good manner. You should not skip anything which is relevant for your examination. Okay. So with all these points in mind, I had prepared today's current affair. Okay, so let's start today's discussion. And here, before proceeding forward, it's as always, I'm requesting you please subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get the notification of all the classes on time. And you can connect with me on my Telegram, that is Varsha Viman. For the last few days, I was quite busy in preparing some notes and with some other classes. Yeah, Namaste, I'm doing well. And what about you guys, right? And you can download the application of Olive Board, and from there also you can get the notes or the PDF of all the YouTube classes, and batches are also available on the application of Olive Board. So be the part of the batches and start with preparations with us. Okay, so let's start today's discussion. So on 29th of June 2025, okay, center. Basically, it is issued by the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. What is it? There are some model rules for felling of trees in agriculture land. Okay, you might have observed that in and around our agriculture or the farmlands, we have some trees planted. Like the fruit trees are there. Okay, they can act as a windbreaks, they can act as a shelter belts, they can basically considered as a agroforestry system. So like the person who is the owner of the agricultural land, he have the right to fell the trees, but there are some model rules that he have to follow before felling of these trees. Okay, he have to take some permissions. So under this model rules, we will discuss about all these important points. This is a very important news. Okay, this is a very important news of the last week. Okay, so center basically the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, okay, issues model rules to state and union territories to aid ease of doing business in agroforestry. You know the meaning of agroforestry, by streamlining regulatory frameworks. Okay. Now let's talk about why these model rules come into the picture. What's the reason of issuing these model rules? So that we can support states and union territories in simplifying regulatory frameworks and promoting agroforestry. Okay, to promote the agroforestry practices. What do you mean by the agroforestry practices? It is a integrated approach. What we are doing in this approach, on the same piece of land at the same point of time, we are growing the agriculture crop as well as we are planting the forestry species. And in one other combination, we are maintaining the pasture lands also. Okay, so that is an agroforestry system. So what the agroforestry system basically offers multiple benefits, like the person, like the farmers who are indulging in the agroforestry practices. It will help in enhancing the rural livelihood. Like now he will have two or more than two sources of income. Earlier he was only dependent upon his agriculture crop that he is growing. Now he can sell the timber wood, he can obtain the fruit from the fruit trees. So that will help in enhancing the rural livelihood. Okay. And yeah, see, now the soil, the nutrient of the soil will be utilized by the different species, and the different species have the utilization for different nutrients, okay? And they will also sink, or like we can say release some nutrient in the soil. So that's how the soil health will be improved. And that's how it will also help in conserving the biodiversity, increasing the tree cover. Okay, the forest and the tree cover, basically when we are talking about the tree species which are scattered, not in a complete forest area, so they are counted under the tree covers. Okay, water conservation, water bed will be maintained, contributing to climate resilience while reducing pressure on natural forest. Okay, so these are all the benefits that a person who is dealing in agroforestry practices will have. Okay, now what is the aim of this model rules? Firstly, it will establish a streamlined regulatory framework by providing simplified procedures for registering agroforestry lands and managing tree harvesting and transit. Okay, so as per these model rules, okay, the procedure will be simplified, like all the agroforestry lands will be registered in a specific format, and that's how the trees harvest and transit will be managed transparently. Okay, it will encourage greater participation and open up opportunities for farmers and other stakeholders to adopt. Okay, so when you are having these kind of rules, so farmers, like there's a need to aware the farmers about these kind of rules so that they will be encouraged to follow it. And that's how the like the burden on the, or the pressure on the forest area will be reduced, and this tree cover will help in improving the overall like greenery or the vegetation on the surface of the earth. To support ease of doing business for those involved in tree-based farming system, to promote domestic timber production through agroforestry, the approach seeks to close the, so that's how, so when you are, yeah, when you can produce or work on domestic timber production, so because of that, the demand supply gap will be reduced. Okay, now you have sufficient domestic timber with you, and it will also support the wood-based industries with locally sourced raw material and boost exports. So when uh, in the local areas, the raw materials for the timber-based industries will be available. So that will be supplied at the good prices to the industries, and the person or the farmers who are dealing in this agroforestry practices, they will have an extra source of income also. Okay, they will also have an extra source of income, right? Next important thing is, yeah, state level committee. State level committee established under the wood-based industries establishment and regulation guidelines 2016 will also be responsible for implementing these model rules. Okay, so these state level committees will also be responsible for these model rules, and its role will be to guide the states and the union territories to promote. Main objective of these model rules for agroforestry practices is to promote agroforestry and enhancing the timber production from the farmlands at the local areas by easing regulations related to tree harvesting and the timber transportation, particularly for commercially valuable species. And this state level committee will impanel agencies for verifying applications for felling of trees from agriculture land. Okay, so yeah, this committee will impanel some agencies that will verify if the farmer want to like fell the tree which is present on his agricultural land. So the applications will be verified by this state level committee. Okay. Now, under that, another important point is, as per the model rules, applicants are required to register. So, as per these rules which are mentioned under this model rules for agroforestry, or for this agriculture land, the applicants are required to register. They have to register their plantations on the National Timber Management System portal, which is being developed. And this involves submitting. So, on this portal, the applicant who is dealing in this plantation, who wants to plant the agroforestry tree species on his farmland, he have to register there. Okay, he have to provide all the basic plantation data, like the owner of the land, who is having the ownership of the land, or where the land is located with camel file, and the species he are about to deal in, and the plantation period for which particular time period he will be indulged in these planting practices. Okay, and he have to update all the informations on a regular time basis. Okay, so that the national timber management system will be capable of tracing all the reports on time. Okay, and when the applicant, the person who have a plantation, he wants to harvest a tree from his registered plantation, he should apply and he should mention the specific details there to tell like why he is about to fell that particular tree, what is the purpose of felling the trees. Okay, so that's how the illegal or the illicit felling of the trees will be streamlined. Okay, that will be controlled. So verifying agencies will carry out, they will inspect the site, they will came to know like what's the reason for harvesting or cutting of the trees. And the divisional forest officer DFO, they will oversee the performance of these agencies through periodic supervision and monitoring, and that's how the system will work. Okay, so these model rules are very important. You might have like we always like after like after a gap of 1 year there is a question related to agroforestry in your examination. Okay, so this time we can expect that you might have the question related to the model rules. Okay, because it is related with the agroforestry portion, so you should cover it in well manner. Now moving forward, so what happened recently? Eighth National Level Steering Committee meeting of Atal Bhujal Yojana held at New Delhi. Okay, so on 30th of June, there was a, national level steering committee meeting held. Okay, and this meeting was chaired by Mrs. Debashri Mukherjee. Who is she? He is Miss Debashri Mukherjee. Who is she? He is a secretary of Department of Water Resources, River Development, and Ganga Rejuvenation, which comes under the Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay. So what were the main points and what were the main issues that were highlighted during this national level steering committee? It was the eighth. Okay. So let's talk about all these highlights. So Atal Bhujal Yojana, basically it's considered as a unique and pioneering initiative that has successfully engaged. So as per this initiative, the local communities has engaged in it, successfully engaged in it. Okay, and that's how Atal Bhujal. Bhujal is basically the groundwater. Bhujal is groundwater. So it is to aware the local communities about the groundwater and how they can manage it so that the water resources will be available for them for sustainable period of time. Okay, and this is a one highlight. Another one is we know that climate change is occurring and we are observing that there's adverse impact on the water cycle because of the climate change, because of the human activities. So if we will work towards this yojana, so that will help to like deal with or mitigate the effect of climate change, right? Need to empower communities to actively take on the challenge of sustainable. So there is a need to take an action related to sustainable groundwater management, like the resources utilization in such a manner that the resources will be available for the next upcoming generations also. Okay, and make water budgeting mandatory. Like it's not like that the people who are living in the rural areas, they are like they can have their submersibles and they can use the groundwater like without considering that the resources will end soon. Okay, so there is a need to make water budgeting mandatory across all Gram Panchayat so that it will foster greater community participation in conserving groundwater and ensuring its efficient use. Like the water that is available to us through tube wells or the groundwater, basically, that should be used efficiently. It should not be wasted. Like formulate comprehensive plans for the operations and the maintenance of the equipments and infrastructure established under the scheme, ensuring long-term sustainability and impact. Okay, so all these points were discussed under this national level steering committee meeting. Another important point. See, these were the points which were highlighted by the secretary. Okay, like Miss Debashri Mukherjee. And you know, whenever all these like the meetings and the committees held, there are so many representatives, and they highlighted their point. They stress on some issues. Okay, so other than her, Shri Shubodh Yadav, who is the additional secretary, admin, ICNGW, and National Project Coordinator of Atal Bhujal Yojana highlighted there. Now this Atal Bhujal Yojana has entered its 6th year of implementation. Okay, so what it means that 5 years of Atal Bhujal Yojana are completed. So in like we had covered that we had so that soil health card mission has covered its 10 years. Okay, national textile mission has covered its 5 years. We had taken session on this. Similarly, the Atal Bhujal Yojana has covered its 5 year. Okay, now it has entered into its 6th year of implementation. Okay, and impact assessment conducted by the Quality Control of India, which is a third party government verification agency. Okay, so what is Quality Council of India? Third party government verification agency. It did the impact assessment to know about how this project is working. Like, are we getting the good results out of this project? Is it really helpful or not? And this assessment, the impact assessment report produced by the Council, Quality Council of India, it's highlighted the positive outcomes of this scheme. What are the positive outcomes of this scheme? Okay, what are the important positive outcomes of this scheme? One is increased community awareness. Now the communities living in the rural areas, they are aware about that. We need to manage the groundwater. Women's participation, because women are the ones that are basically dealing in all the household activities and even the rural agriculture activities also. So women start participating in this yojana. Inclusivity, enhanced local knowledge, behavior shift towards water efficient practices and cropping pattern. Earlier, people have a thought that we were focusing on flood irrigations basically. We were not using the water judicially. But now the people are, their behavior has shifted. Now they had started using water efficiently, like the amount of water is needed, they are using that much amount only. Okay, and broader socio-economic benefits. So by this impact assessment report, these points come into the light. Okay. Now in another, so this is all about it. Next, moving to the next news. So this is a next news. This is very important, aspirant. This is a very important. Like recently, we had that Viksit Krishi, uh, Viksit Krishi Sankalp Abhiyan. Okay, recently we had that before the onset of Kharif season. Okay, before the onset of Kharif season, we had the Viksit Krishi Sankalp Abhiyan. Okay, as per this project, our Union Minister for Agriculture and Farm Welfare, Shri Shivraj Singh Chauhan, he visited many states. Okay, and there he discussed about all the farmers were aware about the scientific practices that they can follow in their agricultural land so that they will get good productivity on the limited land areas they are having. Okay, so this is one thing. Another point is similarly, there was some other projects that are going on. Okay, why I mentioned this particular thing here, because recently our Union Minister for Fisheries and Animal Husbandry and Dairying, he also visited Quest. He also visited Jammu Kashmir, and our Union Minister for Agriculture and Farmers Welfare, Shri Shivraj Singh Chauhan ji, he also visited Jammu and Kashmir, and he discussed about it Viksit Krishi Sankalp Abhiyan and the practices that we can follow in our agriculture system to get good results. Okay, so now moving forward about this particular thing. Okay, so Government of India considering rupees 100 crore proposal for an integrated aqua park, where in Jammu and Kashmir under Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana Phase 2. So Phase 2 of Matsya Sampada Yojana is there, and under the Phase 2 of Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, government has considered that we are about to construct a integrated aqua park where in Jammu Kashmir. Okay, so this particular proposal was given by Shri Rajiv Ranjan Singh. Who is he? He is a Union Minister for Fisheries and Animal Husbandry and Dairying, or when on 2nd of July 2020. Okay, now in a significant achievement, flagship scheme, like we discussed about the Blue Revolution, we discussed about the Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund. Basically, as we have the Agriculture Infrastructure Development Fund, Similarly, we have the Fisheries and Aquaculture Infrastructure Development Fund, right? And Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana have played a transformative role in strengthening the fisheries ecosystem in the Union territories of Jammu and Kashmir. Because in the Jammu and Kashmir Union territory, that fisheries basically fisheries ecosystem is considered as one of the major source of livelihood for the people living there. Okay, so the blue revolution, the fisheries and aquaculture infrastructure development program, and the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana, they had given good results there. Now it's a turn to take it to another step. Okay, take it to another level. So that's how Union Minister of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairy, Shri Rajiv Ranjan Singh alias Lallan Singh, at a function organized at Shalimar Convention Center, Sher Kashmir University of Agriculture, Science and Technology of Kashmir, and he stated that we are about to have an integrated aqua park in Jammu and Kashmir soon, right? Now, what are the other highlights? What are the other highlights? This is very important. The data that we are about to discuss now, it is very important because we are about to mention like how much this sector is growing, how much this sector is contributing to the economy of Jammu and Kashmir. Okay, we have to cover all these points here. So, Union Minister highlight that the government of India's steadfast commitment to the growth of as we are committed to grow each and every state, okay, so that all the individuals are having the good livelihood. So, similarly, we are committed to the growth of Jammu and Kashmir's livestock and fishery sector because it, as I already told you, it is an engine of rural economic and nutritional security. Over 10 crore farmers across the country depends upon livestock for their livelihood. This is an important data. You can use this line, you can use this phrase while framing any answer related to agriculture and livestock development in your descriptive answer. Like 10 crore, more than 10 crore farmers are dependent on livestock for their livelihood. Okay, and with more than 90% of dairy animals owned by the small, like most of the dairy animals, like more than 90% are owned by the small and the marginal farm because they're not having that much land area. So they are dependent on, they rear their animals and the livestock and they sell the milk and the other products and that's how they earn their livelihood. Okay. And how much this sector contributes? 12 to 26% of rural household income. This is an important data. Okay. Livestock sector contribute 12 to 26% of rural household income, with women accounting for over 70% of dairy sector participation and 32% of dairy cooperative membership, demonstrating its vital role. So that particular sector plays a very important role. Okay, that dairy, farming, and all these things play a very important role. Now, moving forward, in Jammu and Kashmir, milk production has risen from 19.50 lakh tons in 2014-15 to 28.74 lakh tons in 2023-24, a 47% increase, while per capita milk availability in the Union Territory stands at 413 gram per day. Okay, just give me a minute. Is it clear to you? See, this data is very important. You should not skip this data. Right? Now, moving forward, yeah. So in Jammu and Kashmir also, we had observed that initially we were having only like 19.50 lakh tons of milk, and now we had doubled in it, right? And per capita, this data is important. It is 413 grams milk per capita per day, okay, per individual is to be. Now to ensure quality seed, this is important. Aspirant, this is important because in our NABARD exam, we are observing questions like that, which are the fishes which are introduced basically and all, right? Okay, so here we have to ensure quality seeds. To ensure quality seeds, Government of India facilitated import of 13.40 lakh genetically improved eyed ova of rainbow and brown trout from Denmark for the Jammu and Kashmir government. And this intervention has significantly improved the availability of high quality seed for trout farmers and boosted production from 650 million tons in 2020-21 to 2,380 million tons in year 2023-24, a 266% increase. Okay, so this is important data. Now another point. Another important, is it clear? Anything you want to ask? Okay. Another important point, the Union Minister and Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, this is important, where they had discussed about and the capacity of the plant will be. Union Minister and Chief Minister of Jammu and Kashmir, Shri Omar Abdullah, jointly virtually inaugurated a 50,000 liters per day capacity, ultra high temperature milk processing plant at Satwari, Jammu. Okay, so that was also inaugurated. So whenever we have these kind of meeting, yes, you can use this data. You can use this data for framing your good answers. If you have any questions related, like the fish farmers and producers organizations, and you will have the questions related to the fisheries and the livestock in your examination. So this data will definitely help you to frame a good answer. See, I always told you whenever you have any descriptive answer writing practice, okay, always have some data available to you because that data will help you to fetch an extra mark. Okay, everyone can write the theory or everyone can write the stories, but the data will show that you guys are serious about your studies. You are practicing good questions. Okay, so always make notes of these data, right? Another important point that was discussed here. So this is also important. Government of India has committed what we had committed under Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana. That government of India has committed that 852 crore rupees for Himalayan and northeastern states. And from this 852 crore rupees, 100 crore rupees proposal is given to Jammu and Kashmir Integrated Aqua Park, right? Including rupees 300 crore specifically for Jammu Kashmir. Okay, including 300 crore rupees specifically for Jammu and Kashmir to boost its production, productivity, infrastructure, and employment opportunity. Okay, we are working in such a manner that we need to boost, we need to uplift the Himalayan areas and the northeastern states primarily. Jammu and Kashmir's annual fish production rose from, so in 2013 or 14, it was 20,000 million tons, and now it has increased to 29,000 million tons. While trout production surged from 262 million tons to 2,380 million tons, which shows an increase of over 800%. Okay. Now the trout seed production rose from 9 million to 15.2 million, while carp seed production, you know that trouts are the fishes and the carps are the fishes now. Okay, that grew from 40 millions to 63.5 million. To ensure seed quality, that the fishes we are rearing, fish seeds that we are supplying to our water bodies, that should be of good quality. Government of India has facilitated the import of. So for that we had imported 13.4 like genetically improved eyed ova of rainbow and brown trout from which country? From Denmark. And over 120 crore of private investment in cold water fisheries. Why? Because we know that the climatic conditions of Jammu and Kashmir, they will support the cold water fishery practices. Na? Okay, so 120 crore of private investment in cold water fisheries has been supported via Fisheries Investment and Infrastructure and Development Fund. Okay, Fisheries Infrastructure and Development Fund, FIDF. Clear? Now moving forward, so for recognizing Jammu and Kashmir's immense cold water fisheries potential, okay, we observe that the livelihood of the people who are living in this cold area depend upon this cold water fishing practices. We observe that. So by taking consideration of this thing, Ministry has formally designated Anantang as a cold water fisheries cluster with Kulgam and Shopian as partner districts, focusing on integrated value chain development to generate sustainable livelihood. Okay, so cold water fisheries cluster at Anantnag, and these two are the partner districts. Union government is considering 100 crore proposal for an integrated aqua park in Jammu and Kashmir under the Pradhan Mantri Matsya Sampada Yojana Phase 2. What will it do? It will act as a model for holistic cold water aquaculture development and ensure government's unwavering commitment to holistic rural development. So, yeah, is it clear to you? Now we have another important point. Okay, now we are moving towards the next news. See, disaster management or the flood and the drought conditions, in if the people or the states, they will be aware about these natural calamities on time, they can take specific measures to get out of it on time. Now. So by considering all these points, what is a new initiative or a web portal or a platform that is recently inaugurated? Okay, so let's talk about it. So Union Ministry of Jal Shakti, Union Minister of Jal Shakti, and who is he? He is Shri C.R. Patil. He inaugurates C-FLOOD. What is a C-FLOOD? It's a unified inundation forecasting system. Please mention this in your notebook. I'll tell you about the C-FLOOD in detail here. Don't worry. Okay. So C-FLOOD is inaugurated by C-FLOOD is developed by. Firstly, you should know that. And what is it? It's a unified inundation forecasting system. Okay, we'll discuss all the important points related to it. And who developed it? So this is collaboratively developed by the Center for Development of Advanced Computing, that is CDEC, Central Water Commission, CWC, Department of Water Resources, River Development and Ganga Rejuvenation, Ministry of Jal Shakti. Okay, so all these agencies and we can say the institutions together, what they do, they develop this. Okay, and the inauguration ceremony, where the inauguration ceremony for C-FLOOD held, it held at Shram Shakti Bhavan, New Delhi, in the presence of different in presence of the senior officials or delegates from different ministries. Okay, now this initiative executed, so under which particular mission this initiative will be executed? It will be executed under National Supercomputing Mission. It is not under National Water Mission or anything. It is under National Supercomputing Mission, which is jointly steered by Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology and the Department of Science and Technology. And this initiative will act as a transformative step towards strengthening India's flood management and disaster response framework, so that the flood management will be done well and the disaster response framework will work appropriately at the time of need. Okay, that's why the system was developed. Now moving further, let's talk about. Now moving further, let's talk about the C-FLOOD in detail. Now what is it? What is C-FLOOD? It is a web-based platform. It's a web-based platform. What it do? It provides 2 days advanced inundation forecast up to village level in the form of flood inundation maps and water level predictions. Okay, so what is it? It's a web-based platform, and what it do? It provides 2 days advanced inundation forecast up to village levels in the form of flood inundation maps and water level predictions. And what this platform will do? It will act as a unified system integrating flood modeling outputs from national and regional agencies, offering a comprehensive decision support tools for disaster management authorities. At present, that system covers. So presently, this system will talk about, like, it will cover the flood that is about to occur because of the overflow in the rivers like Mahanadi, Godavari, Tapi river basins, and with more river basins to be, and in the future, more river basins will be included under it. Okay, so if you have a question like C-FLOOD is related with, like, the overflow on which river, like Mahanadi, Godavari, and Tapi is in focus now, and in future, more rivers will also be considered or connected or incorporated in. Okay, Now this platform uses, so which kind of technology this platform will use? It will use advanced 2D hydrodynamic modeling to simulate flood scenarios. Okay, and the simulations for Mahanadi Basin are run on high performance computing infrastructure under NSM at CDEC Pune with integrations of outputs for Godavari and Tapi Basin, which have been developed by National Remote Sensing Center under the National Hydrology Project. Okay, now moving forward, yeah. So Union Minister also directed the Central Water Commission and concerned agency that this portal, like please popularize this portal so that the local public will be aware about this portal. And there's a need to prepare a comprehensive plan for inundation studies covering all the river basins because we need to include all the river basins under it. Okay, and this forecast must be promptly integrated into the National Disaster Management Emergency Response Portal so that the people concerned, the people living near the river basins will get the information on time, and that's how they can take the requisite actions. Okay. Additionally, the Central Water Commission was directed to coordinate closely with CDEC and RSC and other stakeholders to ensure effective implementation and continuous enhancement of the forecasting system. Okay, so this is all about this particular news. So if I'll consider this news, this news is important for your MCQ type of question. Like you will have a question, it will sea flood. So that's why I covered the sea flood in detail here. Okay, so this is all about it. Now moving further. So recently, what has happened? Next phase of inclusive, resilient, and sustainable. Swachh Bharat Mission-Gramin. Okay, so the Department of Drinking Water and Sanitation and the UNICEF, they host the National Rural Sanitation Workshop. Okay, and what are the important points that were highlighted in the workshop? That now the new phase or the next phase of inclusive, resilient, and sustainable Swachh Bharat Mission-Gramin is about to begin. Okay, and where this workshop held, so it was organized by the National Rural Sanit, it was organized at the India Habitat Center, and where it is in New Delhi, right? Now moving forward, so that sanitation practices are very important. Like we need to talk about the sanitation and the hygienic practices, okay? And as part of the work, like standard operating procedures for the safety and the dignity of sanitation workers in rural India and protocols for developing climate resilient sanitation technical designs and services. So these were the points and the important project that was discussed during that workshop, one thing. And you need to know, I mentioned this important thing here because Chief Wash and CCS is Karina Malsueska and Shri Kamal Kishore Son, who is he? He's the additional secretary and the mission director of JJM and SBM Gramin. Okay, you should know the name of these two individuals. And other than that, there other individuals are also present during that workshop, and they also discuss about there's a need for strengthening Panchayat Raj institutions for sustainable sanitations. Okay, we discussed about Panchayat Advancement Index recent. Okay, Panchayat Advancement Index. So there also we mentioned about the Green Panchayat, Clean Panchayat. Okay, so during that during that workshop, that kind of procedure were also discussed, like about the clean and the green panchayats initiative that empowers the local bodies to lead in waste management, grey water reuse, inclusive sanitation and infrastructure, delivering visible outcomes aligned with the sustainable development goals. And because the clean and the green panchayat, they all come under the localized sustainable development goals, which we had already discussed. Okay. Other than that, yeah. So this Swachh Bharat Mission-Gramin review session provided a comprehensive snapshot of progresses across states or union territories and the key highlights. So during that review session or during that workshop, there were some progresses that was also discussed. And what are these progresses? So one is 80% of targeted villages have achieved open defecation free plus model status. Now they are at very good position, while only 54% have been verified. So only this much number is verified, but 80% has achieved the ODF and model status. Okay, grey water management coverage has reached 91% nationally, with over 20 states or territories crossing 95%. Solid waste management coverage stands at 87%, while plastic waste management has achieved 70% block level coverage, though functionality remains an area of focus. Okay, so these were the discussions there. You can use this data for framing the answer if you have a question related to sustainable Swachh Bharat Mission-Gramin. Okay, another is as the Swachh Bharat mission completes a decade. So this is also important now. This mission has covered 10 years. Okay, the workshop reaffirmed the government's resolve to drive the next phase of Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, that is integrated and anchored in local leadership enabled by climate smart innovations and driven by sustainability. Right? So in this particular session, we talk about like Atal Bhujal Yojana has covered 5 years and it's about to enter in its into sixth year of implementation. And this Swachh Bharat mission has also completed its 10th year. That's why the next phase of inclusive, resilient, and sustainable is about to discuss. That's why we discussed about the developments or the achievements of Swachh Bharat Mission Gramin, right? And yeah, this is a new thing. This is a very important. Okay, where is it? In the last, I think, last week session, our current affairs session, we had actually discussed about that. That now we are getting a status in livestock, like global status in livestock management and certain things. Okay. Similarly, one more status we had received recently, and what is it about? Like India establishes first internationally recognized equine. Equine is horse disease-free compartment at RVC Center. Okay, what is an RVC Center? Remount Veterinary Corps Center, where it is in Meerut. Okay, so this is a very important news that India establishes first internationally recognized equine, that horse disease-free compartment at Remount Veterinary Corps Meerut Center, which is at Meerut. Okay. So this is a significant milestone for the animal health system and for India's animal health system and international trade facilitation, because we are now visible that we are doing something for animal health. Okay, so that also helped us in getting a visibility in the animal health system, and we are getting a international trade facilitation. So we had established and secured global recognition for its first equine disease-free compound. And when we got like recognized by the World Organization for Animal Health, so recently about the rinderpest, now in the last, I think, month or the last to last month, I discussed about the rinderpest, basically a virus. So we had discussed about it there. And now, and again, also we get a recognition by World Organization for Animal Health. And on which day we get a recognition on 3rd of July 2025, like on yesterday. So this approved facility at the Remount Veterinary Corps Center and College, Meerut Cantonment, UP, marks a major step towards enabling the international movement of Indian sport horses in compliance with global biosecurity and animal health standards. Now the Indian sport horses, they can get an international movement. Okay, because we get a status of equine disease-free compartment at Remount Veterinary Corps. Okay, so we get a good recognition in this particular segment, right? Now, with the implementation of robust biosecurity protocols, stringent veterinary surveillance, and adherence to international norms, now Indian sport horses from this facility can now be eligible. Now, our sport horses, they can travel and compete abroad also. Okay, and this significantly enhances the prospect of Indian riders and horses in global equestrian competitions and raises India's profile in the. So we will be recognized globally in equestrian arena. Like we will have a name there. Okay, and the compartment also supports a broader development. So that will also support the horse-related activities in the country. Like when something gets recognition, for example, when I was in like we know about so many sports personalities. Okay, but now most of the youngsters, even though pre-teens also, not the teenagers, pre-teens also, they are inspired by the sports person and they want to be involved in the sports from the very beginning. Like like a 3-year-old uh, child got a recognition in chess. Okay, international chess. So similarly, when this horses or the global equestrian competition and we got a status like that, so it will also help in broader development of horse-related activities in the country. Okay, now the people will start involving in the sports, breeding, and the high-value equine trade. Okay, so that will also strengthen the India's biodiversity and disease preparedness framework. Okay, so when anything and trending, everyone want to be involved there. Na? Everyone want to invest in a particular sector when anything is in trend. Na? So similarly, this thing will come into the trend, and India will be recognized globally then. Understood, na? And this equine disease-free compartment has been officially declared free from equine infections like anemia, equine influenza, equine pyroplasmosis, glanders, and sura. Additionally, India has historically remained free from African horse sickness since 2014. So we are African horse sickness free from since 2014, and now we got this status also. Okay, and this achievement is a result of close coordination among, and we are like blessed or we are recognized as we. It is because of the Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Ministry of Fisheries, Animal Husbandry and Dairying, Directorate of Remount Veterinary Services, Ministry of Defence, Equestrian Federation of India, Animal Husbandry Department, Government of Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so all these different departments and the segments, they've worked in this segment to have this achievement, right? Another is now this approval follows a standard outline in the World Organization for Animal Health, Terrestrial Animal Health Code, which provide the framework for compartmentalization, a science-based approach for managing a defined animal subpopulation with a distinct health status. And this equestrian disease-free compartment operates. So, under which procedure this will be operated? Under comprehensive standard operating procedures, which will encompass disease exclusion protocols, pest control, physical security, hygiene, sanitation, animal health monitoring, waste management, and continuous surveillance, all aligned with international best practices. Okay. Next is another important point related to this is this recognition underscores India's growing leadership in implementing internationally harmonized science-based animal health system that facilitates safe trade and other things. Okay, so this is all about it. I think you guys are now aware about all the news that we discussed in today's session. See, all the important news of the last week we have covered here. If you still have any query related to the any news, you can ask in the comment box. One point. And the second point, in the next week, I am about to take a monthly compilation for the month of June 2025. So be connected with us here, right? Okay, yeah, that is a really good question. Yeah, yes, Anjali, I'll take a session on it. So, yeah, okay, I'll take a session of this. I had mentioned this. I'll take a screenshot of your query. Okay, soon I'll take a session where I'll talk about the like how you should cover the NABARD principle. Yeah. So I'm ending the session for now. We'll meet in the next session and we'll discuss about the next thing in our next session. Bye bye. All the best.